done. Okay. All right. So today we're going to continue talking about graphing two variable inequalities. First thing we're going to do, we're going to look at example 1. Example 1 is in standard form. Can I easily graph all of my points if it is in standard form? No. What form would we prefer to graph in? Slope-intercept form. So what do I need to do to convert this into slope-intercept form? Add 4x on both sides, and this is going to produce a slope-intercept form equation. So I get y is greater than -3 plus 4x. I'm going to rewrite it as y is greater than 4x minus 3. Just swapped the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, if you're struggling with graphing lines by hand, please pay attention. This is the two-step process you're going to do to be able to graph it on on a grid. So, first thing, what is my y-intercept on that equation? -3. So where am I going to put my first point? On the y-axis at -3. Now, we have our y-intercept plotted. We're going to use our slope to create new points. What is my slope? 4. And if I wanted to write it as a fraction, which you usually will want to write it as a fraction so you can use it to plot more points, I heard someone say you can write it as 4/1. Remember that slope can also be thought of as rise over run. So 4 is the rise, 1 is the run. So from wherever I have a point already, I can rise 4, run 1. Am I going to go up or down? Why am I going to go up? Not just because we're rising. You can go. It's a positive 4. So because 4 is positive, that means I'm going to go up. And because my run will always be written as a positive number, at least whenever I choose to write it as a fraction, it will always go right. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 units and right 1. And now I have another point. I went up 4, right 1. Continue up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. Does everybody see how we got these points? Because you are going to have to graph in a second. We started our y-intercept of -3. Then I wrote my slope as a fraction 4/1. The numerator tells me how much to go up or down. The denominator tells me how much to go to the right. So I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. And then I continued that pattern until I reached the end. Perfect. So now we need to create the line on the boundary line here. My symbol is the less than symbol. Am I going to have a dashed line or a solid line? A dashed line. So I'm going to draw a dashed line for my boundary line. Okay, everybody understand why it's a dashed line? It's a dashed line because according to this inequality symbol, my y values must be greater than, but not equal to, 4 times x minus 3. The line itself represents 4x minus 3. Since y is not equal to the line is not part of the solution set. So it's not solid. That's why we dash the line to indicate that it's not part of our solution. Now for the rest of my solution set, I'm going to shade. Am I going to shade above the line or below the line? If y is greater than 4x minus 3. Above the line. So, we're going to shade above the line. But maybe you'd be looking at this line, and your instinct is to think about it as left side and right side. So what I encourage you to do, if you are stuck, not able to tell very easily which side is above, which side is below, place your pen on the line and go up. And now you are in the upper region. Place your pen on the line and go down, and now you're in the lower region. That's if the line is really steep, it starts to look more like left versus right than up versus down, and that's how you can reorient to tell what is above and what is below more easily. So, like I said, pin here, we're going to go above the line and we're going to shade. Any questions about how I created the line?
No.
Any questions about why the line is dashed, not solid?
I didn't.
Any questions about why I shade above or how I was able to tell which side was above the line? Yes, Vaughn?
Why are we shading it?
We're shading because, just like with the Joey Chestnut video, where all of the y values greater than 7x were more than enough for him to win the competition. With an inequality, all of these satisfy the inequality. So if I were to plug in the point 0, 0, would that be inside of the shaded region? So if I plug in 0, 0, is that going to satisfy this inequality? Yes. So my inequality is y is greater than 4x minus 3. If I plug in 0 for y and 0 for x, I get 0 is greater than 0 minus 3. 0 is greater than negative 3. Is 0 greater than negative 3?
Yes.
Yes. So that means we shaded the right region because my inequality is satisfied by every single point in the shaded region. All right. Any questions about that before we move on? Okay. Example number 2. Jocelyn, is this in the right form to graph?
No.
What do I need to do first? Somebody want to help her? Sarah. You're going to subtract x on both sides. When I subtract x on both sides, in this particular case, I want you to write minus 1x. Minus 1x. So we're subtracting 1x on both sides.
So it's 2y is less than 4 minus 1.
Perfect. What do I need to do now?
You have to divide by 2.
We're going to divide 2
From
on every term. We're going to divide every single term by 2 to keep my equation balanced. And I get y is less than 2 minus, and because I put negative,
It's minus 1 half x, right? Wait, why is it minus? Because it's a negative. Because when there's only one negative number, then it's negative. I don't understand. Because you subtract, because it's minus. Okay. Okay. You already did that.
okay, any questions about how we got that equation? We subtracted 1x. The reason why I subtracted 1x was because it makes it easier to see my slope if I did minus 1x. If instead I just did minus x, it would be harder to see my slope. So I'm going to rewrite it one more time. Y is less than negative 1/2 x plus 2. Not the cleanest, but there it is. Y is less than, let's try one more time. Y. You don't. As long as you know what your slope is and what your y-intercept is, you do not have to. So what is my y-intercept this time? 2. So my first point's going to go on 2. If you are still struggling with graphing, pay attention. What is my slope? Negative 1/2. So what I'm going to do is my rise is negative 1. So am I going to go up or down?
Down.
How much am I going to go down? 1.
And then you're going to run over twice.
And I'm going to run twice to the right. So I go down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Back to the start. So once you reach the end of your grid and you can't fit any more points with the original pattern, go back to your y-intercept and reverse directions. So what we're going to do now is go back to the original y-intercept, and instead of down and right, I'm going to go up and left. Up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2, and now I have my points graphed. Because my inequality symbol is a less than symbol, will it be dashed or solid?
Solid. Dash.
It will be dashed because it is less than but not equal to. And we're going to shade above or below this time. Okay, so any questions about how we graph that line? How we got the slope-intercept equation? Why the line is dashed? Or why we shaded below? All right, go ahead, take a second to finish writing, and then we are going to quickly graph the other two. You'll notice the bottom two examples are the exact same equations, the only difference being instead of just greater than or less than, they are greater than and equal and less than or equal. And that's the only difference. Yes, they are going to have solid lines, and that's the only difference. So quickly, here is the first equation in slope-intercept form. I'm going to graph my y-intercept. I'm going to rise up 4, right 1, up 4, right 1, and then I'm going to draw a solid line because it is greater than or equal, so it gets a solid line. And I'm going to shade again above because in this case, again, it is greater than.
Greater than. She said not you.
All right, last one. Y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 2. Start with my point. My slope is negative 1/2, so it's down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. And then back to the start, and now up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. Solid line because it's equals to. Shade below because it's less than. Any questions about this? Y'all are going to have to graph these inequalities in just a second. So if you have any questions, Muhammad Ali.
Are you serious?
That was an accident. No, I said Muhammad and Ali. It was both of them.
You just said Muhammad Ali.
I know, but I meant both of you. I didn't. Anyway.